What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over the 3 AI tools that beginners need to get started in 2026. Now most beginner AI advice gives you a list of 15 different tools to use, and that is exactly the problem. You don't need 15, you don't even need 10, all you need is 3. And the other 12 are just noise, and that will keep you stuck in tutorial mode forever, where you'll just keep binging YouTube videos without actually applying what you've learned. Now, I've spent the last 3 years using AI tools daily running a B2B agency. I've tested every shiny new launch, every Twitter hyped rapper, every productivity tool that promised to change everything, but the truth is boring. There are 3 tools that 95% of beginners genuinely need, and the rest are just variations or wrappers on top of that. Now, this doc walks through the exact 3 that you should be using, what each one is actually good for, where they overlap, what they cost, what to ignore, and what to do in your first week if you're starting from scratch. I'm not getting promoted by any of these platforms, so I have no affiliate links to give you, and there's no upgrade pressure either. Just a setup that actually works. Now, if you're new here, my name is Dominic Schwantes. I'm the founder of Workflows, a B2B AI lead generation agency. I document everything I do in real time, the campaigns, the systems, and the results. And what you'll find in this document is based on what actually works, not just some theory. So why 3 tools and not 15? The reason beginner AI advice fails predominantly is that it confuses options with progress. A list of 15 tools feels like a roadmap, but it actually is a stall tactic. You'll spend 2 weeks comparing them but never commit to one, and you'll quit before you even finish a real piece of work. Now, 3 is the right number in particular because 3 is a small set that covers the jobs you'll actually use AI for. For example, 1 for serious work, a tool for everything else, and 1 tool for your own documents and research. Anything beyond those 3 is either a duplicate, a niche tool you can add later, or a wrapper around the one you already have. Now, if you can use these 3 well, I guarantee you can do 95% of what people use AI for, like writing, coding, thinking, summarizing, researching, brainstorming, and the rest. Now, this is the bar that I've used personally to determine this. Each tool had to do a job that the other 2 can't do so well, and each had to have a free tier that you can use for real work for free and not just a trial. Now, each had to be usable on day 1 without a tutorial, and each had to still be right. It still had to be the right answer in 12 months, not just the flavor of the week. So the first one is obviously our favorite, Claude. Now, Claude is your work tool in particular. That's the one you open when you have something real to do. Now, the free tier gives you the latest Sonnet model with daily limits enough to test it. Now, obviously, the Pro is only $20 a month and unlocks Opus, which gives you much higher usage limits. You get to unlock projects, file uploads, and artifacts. And obviously, the max plans go higher if you start using it heavily. Now, the best things that look like work, such as writing long form, editing your messy essay draft, is into something readable. Obviously, you can do coding as well when you're on the pro plan as well, thinking through hard decisions and blah blah blah. I can do all these things. Now, why it's become the default for serious users like myself is particularly the writing quality and the honesty. Now, Claude is unmatched in terms of matching writing tone. You can literally give it so many examples of what your successful writing style looks like, and it can mimic it so well. You can literally paste your own writing in. You can ask Claude to edit it in that style, and you'll get something that sounds like you, if not better, to the point where Claude can write all your stuff for you. Whether you get an email, whether you're writing a post on social media, it can do all of that. Now, other models flatten everything into the same corporate voice. Claude doesn't. You can actually select the different kinds of voice that you want. You can even save your own. Now, it'll also tell you where your problem is and how to push back on the bad assumptions you have. So it's not just a yes man. Now, there are 3 features worth knowing particularly is that projects is one of the most underrated features of Claude. It lets you save reusable content and actually functions as like a mini brain because you can upload all your files into one project, and then in every new chat inside of that project, you can just queue those resources every time, and it doesn't have to process and queue and try and go back through its memory and find them. The next thing inside of Claude that's worth knowing is artifacts. So you can actually build mini React apps inside of Claude and documents inside of a side panel. And obviously connectors are huge as well. You can basically connect any app you want. And if it isn't inside of Claude natively, you can just add it inside of the connectors section. Now, I would use Claude when the output actually matters, like emailing a real client or a blog post you're publishing or the code you're deploying. The big decisions that you're weighing up. Unfortunately, it's not always the fastest answer, but it's usually the best one. Now, obviously, where it's weaker, if we're talking about the pros and the cons, is obviously the voice mode isn't that great compared to ChatGPT, and there's no native image generation. Obviously, now we've got Claude Design, but still, it's not so great. And obviously, the limits are very stingy at this point in time. Now, conversely, obviously, on the opposite side of the spectrum, we've got ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT is like your everything else tool. You'll open it up for 100 small things that come up each and every day. Now, the free tier in 2026 is generous because they're trying to get people on the platform, and you'll get GPT 5.3 instant for everyday use, which can do web search, basic voice mode, and the rest. and now it even gets ChatGPT Images 2.0, which is their new model. Now, Plus is the $20 a month plan. It unlocks GPT 5.5, which is their newest flagship model. You get advanced voice features, Image 2.0 as well in thinking mode, which is the smartest one it has. Now, it's also condensed Sora into ChatGPT, which it's just kind of merged into one. And obviously, you get agent mode and deep research as well. Now, the Pro tiers go higher again at $100 to $200 a month for the heavy users, but the Plus is more than sufficient for your everyday users. Now, one quick note for everyone who used ChatGPT a year ago, the image generator used to be called DALL-E. They completely got rid of that. Now they've replaced it with a ChatGPT Images 2.0 in April of this year, and the old ones are now being retired at the end of May, or at May, what's the date today? The 8th, so in a couple of days' time. Now, the same image generation feature, but it's a new model, and it has a much better output. If you saw what DALL-E produced in a YouTube video, compared to what ChatGPT Images 2.0 can do right now, it's crazy. It does all my thumbnails, it does any sort of image generation I do, it even does my video editing on some of my TikToks, which is crazy. Now, what ChatGPT is the best at is the breadth. The best voice mode of any chatbot by a clear margin goes to ChatGPT. Obviously, the inline image gen with ChatGPT Images 2.0 is obviously the highest currently ranked image model. It's better than Google Gemini's Nano Banana, particularly on the Image Public Arena leaderboard, which is where I saw this first. It obviously has the most polished mobile app as well, and agent mode for autonomous web actions, particularly if you use codecs on the web version, is cracked. Now, if you're walking your dog and you want to think out loud, the advanced voice feature is great. You can literally just turn it on and talk to it like a real person. Also, if you're wanting to create a poster or a menu of any kind and get a quick mock-up with real text on it, ChatGPT Images 2.0 is the way to go. Now, let's have a look at the overlap. So the overlap with Claude is also real, but the difference is in practice. So Claude is the one that you reach out to when you actually want to do work that is actually on your desk, but ChatGPT is the one that you reach out to when you're away from your desk and you need an answer quickly. Now, specific things that ChatGPT does that Claude does not. Now, obviously, the voice conversations feel close to talking to a real person when you're using ChatGPT, including being able to interrupt and interject. Now, the image gen inline as well is cracked compared to what Claude can generate. And obviously, the agent mode that can browse and click on your behalf, which is on ChatGPT in codecs specifically, compared to Claude, is not that great. Obviously, we've got Cowork now, so it can do some stuff, but I would still give the edge to ChatGPT. Now, if you're a beginner, ChatGPT is the easiest on-ramp. The interface is most familiar to you, it's much more simplistic, and the voice mode is the easiest way to feel like AI can do everything for you. So if I were you, I would start there if you've never used an AI tool before, then layer Claude on once the basics feel comfortable. Now, where it's weaker, obviously, is the long-form writing quality dupes compared to Claude, and the interface has accumulated a lot of features like the GPTs, agent mode, Sora, deep research, codecs, tasks, and the rest, which can obviously feel overwhelming and get cluttered. Now, the free usage tiers in the US now see sponsored tips just because of the February rollout, and now the latest flagship 5.5 is only for the paid users only. So the free plan, unfortunately, you'll get a minimized version, but Claude is the exact same with Opus being restricted as well. Now, tool number 3 is the hidden gem of them all. Horrible, horrible line. Is NotebookLM. Now, if you guys have never heard of NotebookLM or used it, listen to this. It's so cracked what it can do. Now, it's basically your own research tool. So it's like Perplexity on steroids. Now, it's the one you use when you want to answer, or when the answer that you're looking for is inside of your own documents, not browsing the internet. Now, it's also made by Google, so if you have a Gmail account, it's used, or you can find it inside of your own subscription. You don't even have to pay for it. Now, there is a plus tier as part of the Google AI Pro program, but you don't need it at all. Now, what it does do is that you can upload your own sources like PDFs, web pages, Google Docs, even YouTube videos with captions, and then you can ask it questions and generate summaries and resources based upon those resources that you've given it. Now, every answer will cite the exact passage so you can verify that the AI isn't making it up. Now, I found this feature to be so huge. So I would give it a whole bunch of documents, and then I would ask it questions, and then it would actually tag for me which document it came from. So I could just go and look it up and verify that it was actually not hallucinating, which it wasn't most of the time, if not all the time. Now, this is a tool that most beginners don't know exists just because it's hidden in the Google ecosystem, but it actually changes fundamentally how you research and how you learn. The other two are general purpose chatbots that are like generative AI tools. But NotebookLM is built for the situation where you have a whole stack of documents and you need to actually use them. Now, the audio overview alone is worth the time. You can upload 3 articles, hit generate, and 20 minutes later, you have a podcast-ready conversation that explains the material in plain language for you. Now, a real beginner use case is that a property buyer is uploading the contract, strata report, and the building inspection, or a student uploading lecture slides for a study guide, or you could be a new employee uploading the new company handbook. All of those examples that you can read here, I'll put this document in the description of this video. All of these documents and all of these use cases are actual practical examples that you can go away and apply today. Now, it is particularly good for you guys at university and at high school. You can save it for studying for an exam, learning a new field, or preparing for a meeting on a long document. You can literally just chuck all of it's like a database, literally. You can just chuck it all of your documents and it will help you study or perfect those documents. Now, let's have a look at where all three of them, we looked at all two, the main two LLMs before. But now let's have a look at where NotebookLM overlaps here with the other two LLMs and where they don't. So obviously these three tools generally cover different jobs. Now Claude and ChatGPT both do general chat, obviously, but the difference is in quality versus convenience. Now ChatGPT or Claude will win on the output, but the voice quality is not great, but ChatGPT wins on getting an answer fast on your phone and having the voice mode and the image generation in the palm of your hand. Now, Claude and NotebookLM both work with documents. The difference is in depth and in citations. Now, Claude can read a document you paste in and respond intelligently in one conversation, but NotebookLM lets you build a permanent notebook with up to 50 sources and ask repeated questions across all of them over time, and you can get cited answers every single time. Now, with ChatGPT and NotebookLM, they both do summarization, but the difference is what they summarize. ChatGPT will summarize whatever you paste in or whatever it can search on the web, but NotebookLM summarizes your own collection and your own collection only. Big difference here. The practical rule is that if the work matters, start in Claude, but if you're on your mobile and you need voice or images, use ChatGPT. Now, if you're working with your own documents and you want answers that you can trust without getting hallucinated answers, use NotebookLM. Now, what I deliberately left off of the list. Now, you will see other tools in every of the other best AI tutorials or AI tools in 2026. But here's why I left them off, because none of them really matter when you add the other three tools that we've already covered. Now, like we said, Perplexity is basically being replaced by NotebookLM. Now, it has good search tools with sources, but ChatGPT and Claude both have built-in web search functionalities, and also NotebookLM actually has that research functionality as well because it's tied to Google. Now, Gemini was also going to be on this list, but when we added NotebookLM, it kind of replaced that. So it has capable, fast, and integrated functionality within Gmail and Google Docs. But for most beginners, it's a worse version of Claude or ChatGPT depending on what you use it for. But like we just said, NotebookLM basically does the result that Gemini would do, and it's free. Now, Midjourney is one of the other best image generation tools out there, but $10 a month minimum is not a great entry point considering what it gives you. But obviously now we've got ChatGPT Images 2.0, so that handles like 99% of what Midjourney would do. We've got Grok, which is the main thing or the main AI used inside of Twitter/X, but you would only use it if you had a specific reason. Like, for example, if you're doing API stuff and you need like an image generation or a voice generation tool, Grok has a good free, if not low cost version of the image of the voice generation. So that's where you would use Grok. Now, obviously, all of these other tools like Cursor, Lovable, and Bolt, all of these are basically getting replaced in real time by Claude Code and Codex. Why? Because they're basically all wrappers on top of these tools. And obviously Claude and OpenAI are perfecting these tools so much to whereby these ones are going to go out of business very soon. Now, the other ones I've left off of this list is Notion AI, Granular, Otter, Fathom, and Fireflies. Now, they're useful for specific workflows inside of a business, and you should be adding them if they solve that specific problem. But if you don't have them, if you don't have that specific problem where you need these tools, just leave them off for now. They're not actually going to help you, particularly if you're starting out. Now, my point isn't to make these tools look bad, but the point is adding any of them before you're good enough is just going to help you, is just going to confuse you and actually not help you at all. The biggest mistake beginners make is assuming that AI knows what they want. They'll write like a one-line prompt and they'll get a generic answer and they'll decide that AI isn't for them. Now, AI isn't magic. It's a tool that does whatever you tell it to do in roughly the way you told it. You get a vague prompt and you get a vague answer back out. Context, examples, and a clear goal will produce a useful answer. Now, I always tell people to treat AI like a new employee. If someone comes into your office for the first time and you give them a 2-sentence explanation of how to do a task, do you think they're going to be able to do it very well? Obviously not. You need to give them all the context that they need and paragraphs of information. Now, the single biggest unlock for a beginner is learning to give the AI more context up front. For example, like creating a .md file. Give it the identity, tell it who it is, tell it what you were trying to do, tell it what good looks like actually paste in examples, and then ask a question. A prompt like write me an email about pricing gives you a generic email. But a prompt like I'm a freelance designer, I need to send a polite reply to a client who asked for a discount on a $5,000 logo project. I want to hold the price but offer a smaller scope as an alternative, and I want you to write a short reply that does that. Match my tone, and here are 2 examples that I've sent before. Now that actually gives you something that you can send and has enough context. Now the pattern is always the same. The role plus the task plus the constraints plus examples plus the actual question. If you use that formula every single time, you'll be just fine. Now, the first tool that you start being very specific is the first week AI starts feeling like the tool everyone else has been raving about. Now, let's have a look at a roadmap to actually get you guys started in a week. Now, the trap is obviously reading about all these AI tools instead of using them. But the first thing is actually just to get your hands dirty. So, firstly, sign up for ChatGPT and have a real conversation with it, not just a test prompt. Actually, try and solve a problem of yours, like spend 30 minutes on it. Then, day two, try to go to the next step. Unlock voice mode. Just start talking with it while you're walking, while you're driving, while you're commuting somewhere. Ask it to explain a topic to you that you don't understand and try and debate with it. Then on day three, try Claude. Try taking the same task that you use on ChatGPT and give it to Claude and compare them side by side, and you'll probably see what most people say when they say Claude's writing style is way better. Then on day four, pick a piece of writing that you've actually been putting off doing, whether it's an email, a LinkedIn post, or a short doc, and use Claude to draft it and edit it yourself. And the more you edit it, the more Claude should remember your corrections and actually add it to memory. Now, in day five, that's when you should sign up for NotebookLM. But if you've already got a Google account, you'll already have NotebookLM anyway. Upload 3 documents, 3 PDFs, or 3 YouTube videos on a topic you actually want to understand, and ask it 5 questions, and actually ask it to generate an audio overview and get it to teach you stuff. Then on day 6, use one of these 3 tools to solve a problem you would normally consult Google with, like a travel question, a recipe substitution, a coding error, a confusing email from your bank. It doesn't matter what it is. Then on day 7, pick the tool you've used the most, pay for it, and upgrade to the Pro plan, whichever it is. Now you are actually able to use it without hitting the free limits. Now, resist the urge to subscribe to all 3 on day 1 or on day 7. Most beginners only ever need to pay for one. So, for example, if you're using like Claude a lot because you're doing a lot of writing, maybe Claude's the one you pay for Pro, right? But then you can get away with the others being on the free plan. If you think of it like a chart, you've got like OpenAI and then you've got Notebook. Obviously, that should be always free. You shouldn't have to upgrade. But if that's free, you can get away with this being free. Or you can go vice versa the other way around. Like if you're using OpenAI more, if you're doing a lot of image gen and you're doing a lot of voice stuff where you're talking to it or you're learning a language, use OpenAI more and pay for that, and then just use the free version of Claude. Now, what comes after the 3? Now, once these feel like basics and they feel like they're automatic, there is a natural next layer to add on. Now, this isn't a roadmap, but it's what to add when you hit a specific problem that those 3 can't solve. Now, if you start writing code specifically, you can go over to your coding editor, whichever IDE you use, whether it's VS Code, Claude Code in the Claude app, or use Anti-Gravity or Cursor. Now, both let an AI work directly in your code base with full context. Now, if you're running a business with a lot of recurring tasks, try adding make.com or N8N. Now, if you're using Claude Code and N8N, just a little side hack here, N8N actually has an MCP. So you can actually come up here to Claude Code and get it to write everything for you, and it will put it inside it'll write your N8N instance for you. If you don't want to use the chat functionality inside of N8N, like if you've used up all your credits. Now, AI inside chat windows is reactive, but the automation tools let you run AI on the schedules and triggers that you can't do inside of Claude, for example, or ChatGPT. Now, if you do a lot of research with sources, you can add Perplexity. It is a bit faster than ChatGPT search, but obviously you'd probably be better off using NotebookLM anyway. Now, if you generate a lot of images and the ChatGPT image gen isn't doing it for you, try adding Midjourney. You can always start on the free version or the lowest cost plan, and then you can upgrade later if it goes well for you. Now, if you do a lot of meetings, you can add Granular or Fathom. Now, my personal preference is Fathom. I use it for everything, and it's fantastic. Now, the AI-based chat can't sit in a meeting and take notes for you. It can. Actually, that's a mistake. I wrote that too early in the morning. AI can actually sit in front of you. I don't know what's happening there. Go away, sidekick. It can actually sit inside of your chat and create notes. So you log into Fathom, after it's recorded your entire meeting, you get the whole transcript. And if you've paid, it can actually give you the meeting insights as well. And you can actually search through the chat. Like if you're looking for a specific keyword that was mentioned inside of that meeting, you can actually, you can actually search for that specific keyword that you're looking to find. Now, the pattern is the same every single time. Get to the point where the basic 3 that we mentioned in this video are not enough for your specific job. Then add the one tool that fixes that specific problem. Now, don't be adding tools for the sake of it because someone on YouTube or Twitter tells you that there's some futuristic element to it. Add them because you legitimately hit a wall. So the 15 tool list that most people are reading about or telling you to use is just unnecessary. The 3 tool lists that we covered today in this video are for people who actually want to use it now and win straight away. Now, Claude is for the work that matters the most, and it doesn't hallucinate at all compared to what ChatGPT did or used to. Now, NotebookLM should be used for your own documents and for actually searching through your own files. Now, if you get good at these three and you master them, then add the fourth. The week you stop paying or you stop comparing tools and you start with real work that actually is a current problem for you right now and you start using these three tools to implement them, that'll be the week that AI actually starts paying you back. It's very simple. 3 tools, 1 week, and then skip the rest. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of our new daily videos that we're pumping out on the channel. And I look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's video.